Hey everyone, in today's episode, I'm going to give you guys a simple tool that's going to completely change the way that you see relationships. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about the relationship bank account, and I'm pulling this from my relationship revamp course. So whether you are in a relationship, whether you're single, this is going to help everyone. And at the end, I'm going to talk about the relationship revamp course because a lot of women are already having amazing breakthroughs and aha moments and already shifting their relationships. So I'm so excited. Let's get right into it. I'm constantly talking about how our relationships are a reflection of our own inner world. And I teach women how to really spot them and how to transmute them. So how to actually create a relationship that you're actually desiring without having to control anyone, without having to tell people how to treat you. The way that people treat you are going to be a reflection of how you treat yourself, how you perceive yourself, and how you see yourself. Not only that, but there's also going to be some physical tools that you can use to help the relationship become a union and creating this love bubble. So if your relationship has felt heavy lately, if it feels like all you do is argue, trigger each other, or maybe the relationship just feels distant right now. Maybe you guys are in a good place in the relationship, but there's not a lot of romance, there's distance. Or maybe right now you're single, but every relationship that you've ever had eventually turned into some kind of conflict, into distance, into emotional exhaustion. And there's like the same pattern that keeps happening within every relationship, just a different face. And I want to give you guys one simple tool today that can completely change the way that you're going to see relationships and relationships. So yes, healing your beliefs is a big part of it, and regulating our nervous system matters as well. But we also need those practical tools within the relationship, and transforming it isn't just internal, it shows up how we interact every day. We need those practical physical tools just as much as we need the energetic tools to start creating the life that we really desire. So here's one of my favorite ways to think about relationships. Imagine your relationship is its own bank account. This is your relationship bank account. And every loving interaction is a deposit in the bank account. So just like how we put money and deposit money into our bank account, so every loving interaction, everything that feels positive and expansive and loving, those are deposits in the bank account. And every genuine laugh, hug, kiss, every moment of playfulness, those conversations where you could just truly sit with each other, listen to each other, compliment each other. Every time you reach for each other's hand or hug, every moment that you choose connection, those are all going to be deposits in the relationship bank account. That's putting money into the bank account. So now think about what withdrawals are going to look like. So withdrawals are going to be taking money out of the bank account. So that's going to be things like arguments, criticism, contempt, emotional distance, keeping score, harsh words one to one another, ignoring each other, defensiveness, fighting, arguing, not listening to each other. Listening is also a form of communication. And of course, every relationship has withdrawals. It's normal. We all have reflections, and those reflections are all good. So we can always see the good in everything, even though, arguments happen and disagreements happen. Those are all perfect. Those are all there to teach us lessons. Triggers are there to teach us something. So even through the hard times, we can see the perfection in them. We can see the lessons in them when you know this work. But in your relationship, you want to have more deposits rather than withdrawals because the relationship is going to feel very hard. And the problem with that is if you've been making a lot of withdrawals for months and months and even years without making any deposits or barely making any deposits, eventually the account becomes overdrawn. So just like in your bank account, if you're spending too much money, if you're taking out too much money, then the account will become negative. And that's the same thing that can happen within a relationship. When your relationship bank account is in the negative, even the smallest things that trigger you will create a huge reaction. And that's why couples, they'll often fight over the smallest things. They feel like they have to defend themselves against each other. And this is what I call the protector. We can accidentally trigger each other's protector side to come out, where we are trying to defend ourselves and we're not listening to one another. It doesn't matter who's wrong or right. We'll constantly try to defend ourselves because our protector is out. And the more withdrawals that you keep making within the relationship bank account, you're both going to be just drowning in it. You're both going to feel exhausted. And depending on each person, if the relationship bank account is constantly in the negative, they can get into fight or flight. So they can either get into fight mode where they're constantly defending themselves, or they can get into flight and become distant. And yes, all triggers are reflections, but also there's not enough money in the bank account to make more withdrawals. It's going to keep staying in the negative. And when more negative interactions keep happening, you're both going to feel so defeated, and it's going to be a never-ending cycle. So you might say things like, oh my gosh, like we fought over the dishes. Well, no, the dishes were simply a reflection. So how you perceive the situation to be is how we are being towards ourselves in some area of our life. So maybe you got triggered because you feel like he's not doing the dishes. Maybe you feel like he's not doing it right. Maybe you constantly feel like what he does is not enough. Well, it's because we are constantly feeling not enough in some area of our life. So these are all reflections within our own inner world. So they're there to teach us something. So they all get to be perfect. They all get to work out for us. And how we react to each trigger is going to either make deposits in the relationship bank account or take away from the relationship bank account. And it definitely doesn't mean that we have to bypass how we feel. You want to feel it, see it, process it. That's the only way that we can notice triggers, right? That's the only way we can notice that's something within us that needs healing, that needs to be seen. Something is ready within you to be seen, and that's why these triggers come up. But if these triggers keep happening and we keep reacting to them, we're constantly putting the bank account into negative. And there's going to be no funds that you can pull from. But if you can create overflow in the bank account, so if we can make more deposits, and then if problems do arise and you want to take money out of the bank account, there's enough money in there. It's not going to really cause any harm to the relationship. The only problem is when it starts causing harm is if the bank account is in the negative and then you're trying to pull out more money from it. And a lot of times what I see women doing, and I myself have done this, when my relationship bank account was in negative already, and then I was trying to come to my partner with like these heavy conversations, they're not really going to be in a place to be able to hear what we really want to say, especially if we're not learning how to really communicate them in a way that they can hear us. And we can accidentally trigger their protector side to come out, where they're constantly feeling like they have to defend themselves against us. And we want to create this love bubble where they're in a place of trying to fix the problem. It's going to be us against this problem. And that's where we want to kind of get to, right? So we want to keep creating more ways where we can put deposits into this relationship bank account and get it into overflow. So we want to see why these triggers come up. What are they trying to tell you? And see how to heal them. Even something as small as getting triggered over dishes, it's not the dishes that cause the trigger. It's something else that needs to be seen in a totally different area of life. So like I said, how you perceive the situation is how you're being towards yourself in some area of your life. So you want to get to a point where you're curious. See what's happening here. Maybe you're feeling unsupported. It's because in another area of your life, you're not supporting yourself, or you're not feeling supported in some area of your life. And because that feeling has already been there, so maybe you've been feeling unsupported in financial area of your life. Maybe you haven't been feeling like money has been supporting you, or you haven't been making enough money to support the way that you want to live. Or maybe you haven't been supported in a career area of your life. Or maybe it's a familiar feeling. Maybe you felt unsupported all of your childhood. Maybe you grew up feeling like you were never really supported by your family. And so he's just there as a reflection to show you where you need healing. And once those wounds are ready to be seen, they're going to be right in your face. They're going to trigger the heck out of you, even something as small as the dishes. And it's going to keep happening and happening until you say, enough is enough. Okay, what is it within me that I need to heal? So when you know this work, when you know these are just reflections, when you know he is just reflecting your own inner world, he is just being a big mirror of how you see yourself, how you treat yourself, your own limiting beliefs, and the way that you perceive yourself. And any wounds that you have within yourself, those are all going to be mirrored back to you within the relationship, if that's important to you. And most of us, we're paying attention to our relationship. So it's going to be right in our face. And when these triggers do come up, yes, sometimes I do react to them, but I've learned, oh my gosh, this is the reflection. This is actually working out for me. And it teaches me to be more emotionally intelligent. It teaches me, okay, let me look at this, let me feel it, let me process it within my own safe container where I'm not constantly reacting to my partner. He's just being a reflection for me. So we definitely don't want to bypass our feelings and just sweep them under the rug. And also, this is not a way to bypass anyone who is being emotionally abusive or abusive in any way. Of course, in those kind of situations, you want to leave first, get yourself into a safe place, and then heal from that, do all of this work, because those are all lessons as well. But we don't want to stay in those type of relationships. I'm talking about a generally healthy relationship. But knowing this work, I know that every annoyance, every trigger is a reflection. And then I'm able to step back, process it, look at it, feel it, and see what the reflection is. Start to shift it, start to change my beliefs. I'm able to regulate my own emotions, regulate my nervous system, and then I can come back and communicate in a way that my partner is able to hear me. And then we can start creating overflow into the bank account. And you'll notice once you transmute the situation, once you up level, and once you heal whatever it was that was needing to be seen, you'll start noticing the change of the dynamic within the relationship. Because as you up level, they'll up level with you if they are meant to stay in your life. And if they are not, they will fall away from your life. And the natural deselection process will start to happen. So the goal here is to create this relationship bank account that is in overflow. And that way, this creates a strong foundation for the relationship. So think about a house. The house has a strong foundation to hold the house up. Well, you need that strong foundation to hold your relationship, to be able to handle duality when all of those things start coming up. And when your relationship bank account is in overflow, you're able to start creating this love bubble, this couple bubble, and you both will work through problems together rather than against each other. Thriving couples experience many more positive interactions than negative ones over time. Oh, my baby is crying. I'll be back, guys. Okay. My older daughter has my baby right now, and she's so good with her. She was able to calm her down so I can finish up this episode with you guys. Gosh, I am so lucky. I am so supported. I'm so appreciated of everything. Okay, guys, so getting back into it. So you want to add a lot of those moments of kindness, affection, humor, appreciation. Those all help create resilience in the relationship. Those are all deposits in the bank account. So those make it easier to navigate through conflict when those conflicts come up. So if someone came to me for coaching today and told me, hey, Kim, our relationship just feels so disconnected. I'm not feeling loved. One of the very first things that I'd have them do before trying to solve every problem, before trying to go to their partner and say, I feel unloved, before having another 5-hour conversation with him, I would first allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, see it, process it, look at it. Look at the reflection. What is this trying to tell you? Is this a familiar feeling from your childhood? Is this something that you have been doing towards yourself in some area of your life? There's 8 areas of life. And once you can switch the perspective, once you can heal from it, change the story, create a new story for yourself, you can start to refill the relationship bank account. And that's going to first start within. So I would even do it for a month or maybe even 3 months. But your goal is simple. It's to become students of connection. And like I said, you have to first connect with yourself. And then the relationship will start to feel more connected. Create opportunities to laugh and fill up your cup. How do you desire to feel? And how can you start to first allow yourself to give those things to yourself? Maybe you can go on walks. Maybe you can flirt again. Flirt with yourself in the mirror whenever you're getting ready, in the shower. Start dancing again, doing things that fill you up, doing things that you love doing, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's drawing, painting, doing arts and crafts. You can start looking at each other in the eyes when you talk. Dance in the kitchen. Celebrate those small things and choose curiosity instead of criticism. The more that we start criticizing our partners, maybe you're not doing this enough, you're not doing this right, you're not doing that right, you're not loving me enough. What we focus on, we get more of. And so if we keep criticizing our partners and we keep telling them they're not enough, they're not doing enough, they're not loving us enough, the more that they keep focusing on that, and the more they keep doing that, and the more we keep focusing on that, the more we keep creating that, the more we keep feeling that way. Think about when someone criticizes you. It's not going to make you want to do better. But think about when someone speaks life into you. And I say, oh my gosh, like, you're amazing. You guys are so smart. You got this. You're going to learn this faster than I did. Think about that when someone speaks life into you, you're going to focus more on that and you're going to keep getting better. So right now, what is your partner doing that you can feel grateful for? And make those things a big deal. Keep focusing on those things. You're not pretending that problems don't exist, but when you keep doing this, you're creating enough emotional safety within the relationship. You're adding more funds into the relationship bank account. And over time, it's going to create more emotional safety. It's going to build a stronger foundation. So when problems do arise, and if they do, there's something that you can draw from. There's already overflow in the bank account, and you have enough money in there to take money out. And when we can start to notice our partner differently rather than the old story, we start to soften and become more available for connection. We start to open up into our feminine energy, which is receiving. And that changes the dynamic of the relationship. If we're more open to receiving, then they're going to be able to give to us. But if we're closed off, if we have the old story of I'm unsupported, they cannot support us, even if they try to. So inside of Relationship Revamp, I teach you not only how to make these deposits, but also how to understand the deeper patterns underneath all of the conflict. And we go deep in there. We're going to be healing from the inner out and regulating our nervous system and stop repeating those same relationship cycles. Because healthy relationships, they aren't built through just one grand romantic gesture. They're going to be built through hundreds of tiny moments of choosing each other over and over again every single day. So for you guys' homework, for maybe the next week, I want you to become aware of your relationship bank account. And at the end of the day, ask yourself, what deposits did we make today? So you can write this in your notes or, on paper, whatever works best for you. So maybe you both hugged each other. Maybe there was a compliment, a thank you, a laugh together, a kind text, and add all of those up. Then ask yourself, what withdrawals happened today? Not to create any kind of guilt or to keep score or to, get mad at each other. It's just to become aware. And then once you become aware, you can start to see where the relationship bank account is at. So maybe it could be at 60-40, 60% positive interactions and 40% not so positive interactions. Or maybe it's 80-20. So then from there, how can you bring the percentage up even higher? And I always want you to start from within. So if you're not feeling romanced, how can you romance your own life? Look at different areas of your life and see where you can add romance to it. Maybe there's something that you've been wanting to learn. Well, now you can start doing that. Maybe you've been telling yourself that you wanted to learn a certain dance. Well, start taking classes for that or even look on YouTube, but start somewhere. We want to take the action and show ourselves self-love, and we also want to do all of the energetic stuff as well. Both things are going to be just as important. All right, guys, I had so much fun getting in today's episode, and I'm going to talk a little more about the course if you want to stay and listen. But if you're feeling whole and complete right now in today's episode, that's totally okay too. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. And okay, if you are still here, I want to talk about the course. So the course is originally a 90-day relationship reboot course. And each module is meant to be embodied for a whole month. And it was meant to transform your relationship in 90 days. And I show you the exact way and how to get your relationship bank account into overflow. So that way, when the hard conversations come up, when the hard things come up, you are both likely to be able to be a team for each other, rather than being against each other, rather than being defensive with one another. So I go over feminine communication, where you both are able to really hear each other instead of constantly feeling unheard. You're able to inspire his masculine protector to show up for you and fix the problem instead of being against you. And the more that I keep learning, the more that I add to the course. So you'll learn how to create this couple bubble where people can just see and feel that you guys have each other's backs. And I go over energetics of relationships and why the same patterns or triggers show up and how to stop those patterns, how to heal them, how to shift out of it, how to create new uplifting relationship dynamics. And I go over true self-love, and you're literally healing from the inside out. You're healing old beliefs, childhood trauma, repeated patterns, nervous system work. You won't even recognize yourself or your relationship after this. There's so much information, and it's going to help anyone, whether you are married, whether you're single. And for anyone who is married, and even if you are in a good place right now in your marriage and you want to amplify it, you want it to get even better, this course is also for you. Or maybe your relationship is struggling right now. Maybe you guys, used to be in love, like used to show each other that love, and you guys were like all over each other back then, but now it's a little more distant. This course is definitely for you too. Or maybe you're just single, you're dating. This course is also going to be good for those who are single and who are dating, because you're going to learn new relationship dynamics, and it's going to also help you in the future. So you'll have lifetime access to all of the modules and any future modules. So anytime I add new modules to it, because I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly going to be adding to it, you are all going to get all of those also. And this is going to be the lowest price that it ever will be. We're in July of 2026 right now. So the end of this month, the price will go up, and I will be adding new updated modules. All right, guys, I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.